I have my whole catalog with me. You can thumb through it. I'll have a sign-up sheet for the N1 book if you're interested. So all that stuff will be available probably down in the scale room, or I'm in room 323. I think that's pretty much it. Anything that I run out of, I'll just ship to you for no shipping after we get back. Which actually isn't a half bad deal, because then you don't have to carry that either. True. Those things are heavy, and if you're anywhere near your 50-pound limit like I was coming here, and you're putting a 5-pound book in there. So, okay, any questions? Yeah.
How soon the book on Phobos Grunt?
Oh, let's say probably another, I don't know, as soon as they recover the pieces. We can measure. Actually, that's the thing about the N1. These guys start out as hobbyists and they've turned into the world's experts because all of the information was supposedly destroyed. It wasn't really. But under the guise of educational excursions, they were able to take basically high school students with them out into the debris fields where the N1s crashed 20 years earlier and measure everything. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, there's pictures of that in the book. It's just unfathomable, that program. The more I learn about it, the more I can't believe it. So, okay, I'm going to say 4 or 5 months before we actually get something back and forth. I've got to train 2 of the 3 Russian guys not to email me in Russian. Although Google Translate does a pretty decent job. One of the guys who was doing a lot of the translation said, "Yeah, that's actually pretty close." So anyway, that's it. Any further questions before?
What about the Buran?
Yes.
What about the Buran? Are you going to plan on doing anything about that?
I don't have anything on the Buran personally. It's an Energia with a shuttle orbiter hanging out. Yeah. No, I'm being facetious there. It was a completely different program. In some ways, a lot better than ours. Well, it was. I mean, they use all liquids. Okay. Thank you.
Well, who would like to go next?
Okay, I have a cup sitting here.
Oh, can you get through there?
Oh.
I am not Brad Klein, and I do not play him on TV. Brad Klein is our in charge of NARTS, but he is currently employed in a position where he doesn't get days off. So I'm volunteering to take Brad's place this week running the NARTS booth. If you haven't visited us, I hope you will this week. We have some things, if you haven't been there for a while, you may not have seen. We have green t-shirts and red t-shirts, polo shirts in 2 different colors, and they're not white, either of them. If you're involved in Team America Rocketry Challenge and you're a mentor or your club hosts TARP lunches, you know, maybe you probably want to have some kind of NAR gear to identify yourself to the students, and so stop by. We have the heavy-duty blast deflectors in stock and all sorts of books. More than I can describe. Just come on over and see what we got. We got some good stuff. I am certain there is something you don't have and you need to take home with you.
Okay.
Next victim.
That's the time to be.
No.
I've also been manufactured talking. 2 minutes.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Bill. We have the hats in stock that cover the back of your neck. So if you go home this week with a sunburn on the back of your neck, it's your own fault.
Too late.
What's back at the
Hotel.
Somebody else's.
I don't need your money.
Well, I can see looking at everybody. I don't need to introduce myself, but I'll still do it. I'm Bill Saindon, Balsa Machining. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill. Just a couple of things here. I introduced in Cincinnati there on the Mighty D launch controller. It's alive and well. People are liking it. Again, its secret is the 8 D cells in series. 8 of these D cells. The expiration, they really need 2018, and I bought these a year ago at a big box store. $10 for 10 of them. You put 8 in your Mighty D controller, and the other 2 go on your flashlight. The controller will put 5 amps through a copperhead. It will ignite it. It's got a relay. Put it by the pad. You can extend it. It comes with 20 feet. You can extend it out to Oh, I've extended it out to 500 feet, 750 feet. You can launch your M motor. A little handheld pendant, activating LED, lets you know there's 12 volts at the clip. Don't hook the igniter up, the LED's on. Disconnected here. This is your safety interlock. Just take the whole off, get it in your pocket. $40 in kit form, $65 assembled. Okay. Any questions?
Are the Quest igniter safe?
Yes, because this unit I'm glad you asked that. This does not have continuity, okay? So it's flash bulb safe. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can look at a flash bulb and it'll go off. But yeah, there's no current.
How many amps to the igniter?
5 amps. It actually, I've used these batteries in here for about a year, and it's still putting slightly in excess of 5 amps through a dead short, which is pretty much what a copperhead is. So. And obviously it'll ignite the new Sonic igniters from Estes and everything else you put on
Depends
it.
on if they have little copper things on the side.
Copper things?
Yeah, little shreds of copper on the side.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then it'll put 5 amps through the copperhead and nothing will happen.
Oh, they vaporize.
How long did you say the batteries were good for?
Well, what's really neat is the expiration date on these batteries nowadays are like these. I bought these a year ago, literally the last Cincinnati Neuron just before I got there. It's 2018. I'm sure if you're picking them up now, it's 2019. They last a long time now. These are not our father's D-cell batteries anymore.
Your typical alkaline is good to 80% for 10 years.
Yeah. And what's neat about that is you don't got to worry about, are my batteries charged up, you know, for launch? You just grab it and run with it.
Bill, any idea how many actual launches that might?
I did a rough calculation on copperheads. I'm figuring at least 200. If you're doing other igniters that use considerably less current, you're going to get more. But saying that 5 seconds at 5 amps on a copperhead, and most of them don't take 5 seconds at 5 amps. They'll go before that.
How big a cluster has anyone tried?
Estes igniters 3, 4 cluster. It's not going to be a problem. Okay. See, the other thing I have, this is kind of a special. It'll be over probably in a few days now. I've got some of the G87Ts. These are the Estes G87Ts, which are the Aerotech G87Ts with a label on them, with an Estes label. Due to a weird sequence of events, I ended up with like 95 more than I want. I'm literally unloading $10 cash price. So if anybody wants any.
Getting into the wallets already.
Take 2 right now.
Okay, you got it, Mark.
What are you going to use them?
I don't know. Hey, Pat, can we sell at the vendor forums if I don't know?
There are no rules at the vendor forum. Okay, this will be the first vendor forum sale. There you go, Mark. 2. Thank you, sir.
No way I can pass that.
I have more. Okay. Okay. One more sale, but I don't want to take up everybody's time in crash commercial.
Let's just go straight to the auction.
Two.
Well, I guess there's Hey,
I'm out of time yet.
Bill, you're going to be open after the forum, right?
Maybe you won't. But he's going to be out of motors.
I think the last time I've seen that many guys waving cash was in some kind of, in a bar.
They were ones, but
Hey, I'm worth 10s and 20s.
Asian blue jeans.
If I was worth that, I wouldn't be here. But anyway,
Right.
everybody should have gotten an imp kit in their contestants package. I decided to do this, put one in every package. It's like a celebration kickoff thing. It's a 99-cent rocket.
99 cents. Can you fly it on the G?
In the payload or something.
Yeah, you can strap it on to the
Strap
G.
it on there?
Yeah.
Nose cone.
Also machining last year, the course of last year, went back to its core roots, and Did some more design on our high-speed balsa nose cone machine. The key to this kit and why it can be sold at 99 cents is the 5V cone that's in it. Bag of 5V cones.
Auction.
$20.
What we did and what we're trying to do now is come out with a low-cost line of 3 pins and nose cone kits at a very low price, and also offer cones to other kit manufacturers at a very low price.
26 bucks.
This retails at 99 cents, but the real neat thing about it is I've got dealer margin built in here. So better than normal dealer margins apply. Okay, and I can still make a few pennies.
What kind of price are you looking at for the nose cones?
The key is the nose cones. I'm not going to say how fast the new machine makes the small cones, but it's really, really fast. It's Jimmy John's fast.
Freaky fast.
Freaky fast.
What kind of kit maker price are you looking at? Like if a kit maker wanted to buy a bunch of cones from you, 100 cones, what are they looking at, roughly?
I'm not going to get into dealer, exact dealer margin, but standard, generous dealer margins apply for kit manufacturer. These are retailing now 60 cents.
Cool.
That's the retail price. So if you want some, you just come by me, and 60 cents each.
Oh, you sell that little rocket now?
Oh yeah, well, this is one.
I gotta go home tonight.
Now I only get the dollars.
I know you.
I'll stick it in my belt here.
Well, that's okay.
You have to dance for
You don't want to see that. There's going to be more little rockets. There's going to be more little rocket kits. So any dealers that want them, let me know. No, you're shielding the sun.
shielding the light.
That's all I have. Any questions?
Given the size of that and some of those tiny little Estes fire and forget rockets, what are the odds of getting one of those back?
Very low, but you didn't pay a whole lot for it.
Yeah. What do you want for there was like another one.
And that leads me to the other point. You notice this is the first kit I put out that doesn't have laser cut fins.
Really?
And Ed just said it. What do you want for 99 cents?
I think like Estes or something had this mosquito,
Yeah.
and it was just that size, and I lost it.
They're little free.
Oh, yeah, you but if you paint it a bright color, and you got to bring one of your kids with it, because kids have great eyes. Young people have great eyes.
You just got to have everybody be very quiet. You
got to hear it.
Listen to it. For 99 cents, you can go buy another one flying over.
Yes, you can.
Then again, you stick a little tiny parachute in it, you launch it on Micromax motors.
Where are we going to put that?
I'm going to put a Micromax adapter.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Which would cost more than 99 cents.
Any other questions? Thank you.
If it's easier for some of you vendors that are on the outside there, come on in up here. So rather than trying to climb over everybody.
I tell you, Micromax converted mosquito with a little tiny streamer, no stone pop up, little Kevlar on them. That's flying rockets I got.
Really? I'll have to.
So it's about 50
I'll go
feet. You
next.
see the whole
Okay,
flight.
come on up.
Perfect.
You're the
Oh, yeah,
next
well-
contestant.
No, yeah.
Plus, we fly from a 12-acre concrete pad.
Wow.
It's called the taxiway at NASA Ames, but it's no problem finding it. Was
Once
just
again, I'm
how
sure everybody here
dented
knows
they
me.
are.
I'm John Dyer with Red River Rocketry. I brought my lovely wife this year. She's back there, Nina.
So it's a different wife from last year. Was it a different wife from last year?
Yeah. Don't get me in trouble. Come on.
You finally brought your wife.
Well, we made an agreement this year that I would not buy more than I sold. So we'll see how it goes. I have a habit.
So you're really pushing rockets.
Yeah, really. There you go. I have 3 new kits for NARAM. This is the mini shooter. It's a BT-20 version of my pea shooter. It's 13 millimeter, but knowing most of you guys, you can just use the thrust ring for 18 millimeter if you really want to get it up there. This is really good for competition. I actually fly it with a streamer, but it does come with a 12-inch Mylar parachute, and it'll float for quite a while. So this would be a good starter kit for some kids, you know, getting into competition. That's what I designed it for in the first place. The next one is the Red Bolt. When I was flying the prototype of this, flew it a whole bunch of times on A's, flew it a whole bunch of times on B's, flew it once on a C. Didn't get the model back. You got it, Mark. So it's a very efficient design. Nina came up with the decals, so it's a lot of fun. It's a real quick build. Both of those are. Going along with the sci-fi rocket kits that I usually put out, one or two a year. This is called the HV308. And the storyline is basically this is supposed to be a cruise missile type hypervelocity vehicle that's going after the people who put out the Predator. So it comes with self-stick decals because I tried using the decal paper that I'm able to get a hold of, and for this long decal I just couldn't get one on without having it rip apart. So I went to the self-stick. So they're all self-stick decals all the way around. It's also 18 millimeter, and this thing flies very well as well. Any questions?
What are the retails on them?
This is $17.50. This is $10.50, and I believe this is $11.50.
Okay.
So, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
You guys have a good time at Maryland.
Who would next like to be Vanna?
Gary. Gary from Aerotech.
Come on up, Gary.
I'm Gary Rosenfield from Aerotech and Survival Laser. But I'll talk about Aerotech first so that Chris will be happy. That's
I like lasers too.
Sort of an inside joke. We're having a great year, and thanks to you, and also what I would like to consider our strategic partnership with Estes, and a contract that we've got with one of our commercial customers that's having to do with special forces and mine clearing type of things. So all that's adding up and helping us out a lot. Well, what does that matter to you, or how does that affect you? Well, one way is, finally, after 4 years of kind of being in the doldrums, the economy still is, but because of this, we now have the resources to stock all our products, or to start working on that. And in fact, as we speak, pretty much every single-use and reloadable model rocket motor is in stock. So dealers, consumers, place your orders. We've been shipping some within a day or two. So we're trying to do that, and I'm told in about 2 to 3 weeks we're going to have everything in stock, including N1000s and so on and so forth. So the goal was to have a 1-month inventory, which we actually had before the accident in 2001. We're going to appear to have that here in a few weeks. So Dave, I know you'll be happy with that.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't mean that once in a while we're going to run out of something, but basically we looked at statistically what we were selling and take a year's worth of production, divide it by 12, and throw that on the shelf. So that's what we've been doing. Another thing, just to let you know, earlier this spring we hired a new production manager. His name is Jeff Robichaux, and he comes from Pace Trailers. He ran the St. George production facility there with over 200 employees, and I'm telling you, he's really doing a good job for us, and he's one of the big reasons things are going really well. So I just wanted to give him some recognition. Appreciate his efforts. Because of all the extra business, we had to hire about 6 more employees, which was great, and I hope we can keep them busy. But this, our partnership with Estes is going well. I don't know if Mike is here. I don't want to speak for Estes, and I won't. But I know we're happy with it. I hope they are too, and I hope you're enjoying the availability of the motors in places that normally wouldn't have them, like in Hobby Lobby and so on, because they dropped us after the accident in 2001 because we just couldn't keep stuff in stock for them. Let's see. You're probably interested in any new stuff, right? Well, you know, this year we brought out the Metal Storm DM, which is, I guess, you know, originally was, well, it stood for a number of things, but what it's kind of gravitating toward is dark matter. So we're using that name. And I mean, the whole idea was Metal Storm was white smoke, white sparks, white flame, right? So Metal Storm DM is white sparks or yellow sparks and dark and black smoke. So you know, you can see it a little easier in the daylight. And we had some interesting drag races at LDRS a few weeks ago. There was, what was it, like 15 L900s flown or something like that. It was spectacular. It really was. And I think Nadine got some really good pictures of it, and I think we're going to try to use one or two in an ad or something. So you'll see that. So we brought out a 38 360 load, and forgive me, I don't remember all the names. I think it's an I327. That might be this.
Yeah, I327.
That's the 720 load.
H170, I327, K456, L900, and I think we just came out with an M1045.
1075, yeah.
1075.
So we've got, you know, we've got a few. We tried to get them, space them through the line. It's really hard to like fill all these slots with all these motors. It's hard for us, and it's hard on the dealers. And this little, and I'll just say it, this little stocking contest between CTI and Aerotech has some undesirable consequences, and unfortunately, but you as the consumer get to take advantage of it while it lasts. So I, you know, enjoy it. You know, there's tremendous variety out there. So what are we going to do? You know, moving forward, we're going to put some Metal Storm DM in a 29mm load, probably the 29240. We'll put it in a single-use motor like the G75. I don't know if we're going to go beyond that right away. Those are in the works. Another thing's in the works, and without, you know, revealing all the information, we are working on. Well, let me go back. Propellant X.
Why?
Yeah. It was Propellant X was going to have another name, but we didn't want to reveal the name because it would give you some insight as to what it was. So we just called it Propellant X for a while, and the name stuck. So that's what we're calling it. Anyway, we've got a 54 1706 load. It's called the K1103, and it's an unbelievably strong motor. I mean, I saw the one that I saw at LDRS, you know, just disintegrated the rocket most
What we all want.
Make no mistake. And
build better rockets.
The customer was thrilled.
As you will be.
Yes. Gotta build it strong. You know, I don't know what it is, but they feel like it's a challenge. What was that?
I said, thrilled is what they call it now when the people use all those four-letter words?
Yeah. So it's a very high ISP, high density. It's like, I don't know, 1900 or 1800 and some odd Newton seconds in the 1706 case. But it's a really nice motor. So we've got let's just say a bigger, real high performance motor planned for that propellant. And we also have another large, long burn motor planned. So watch for that. You know, we're doing other things too. I mean, we're trying to improve production. We're trying to make things more efficient and improve the facility while we have the cash flow and so on to do it. So that's a big priority. As far as the laser stuff goes, that's been going well. We've brought out a new host laser body for it. It's called the S4. If you want to look at it close up, come and see me later. It's kind of slick with the slots and so on. But lasers are a great hobby in addition to rocketry.
Lasers on rockets.
What's that?
Lasers on rockets.
Yeah.
Night launch at 10 p.m.
Yeah, low power lasers would be good. Any questions?
So when are we going to have the laser ignited rocket, you know?
Yeah, when I have some more time. Sure.
54mm hybrids and turbos.
they're just, it would cost a lot of money to put them back in the, you know, on the shelves, and I just don't think there's a market for it. There was a very small market even when hybrids were hot, and now, especially with the ATF ruling, it would have to be one of those things where, you know, we've got money to spend and you know, just to do it for fun. It would not be a good business.
Oh, like
decision.
Apple.
Yeah, what's that?
Like Apple.
Like Apple.
Yeah, they got more money than Bill Gates.
Yeah, if we were Apple, we'd probably do that. I don't know. It's just not. I mean, go to a launch. How many hybrids are flown? You know, there was at one point a regulatory reason for it. Now there isn't. They are cool. I mean, I love the. Ed and I worked on the Aerotech hybrid for quite a while and introduced it to market, and we had a lot of fun with it. Probably more than pretty much anything else we worked on. It was a lot of fun, and they are a lot of fun to fly, but you know, they're also more complicated. And if people think a regular reload is hard to put together, you know, which they aren't, but some people think they are. Sorry.
Perfect.
Anyway, yes, sir.
You ended up naming that Propellant X. What were you going to call it?
I'd still rather not say. Want to keep it mysterious.
Okay.
Gary, is the cost per reload on the Propellant X higher than
No.
this is it?
Yeah. Oh, one other thing, we are running we're running kind of a, I guess the word is out, a price war sale. So if you want to, you know, call your dealers, talk to your dealers about it. I won't say what it is, but yes, sir.
Yeah, I had a question. I purchased Commonwealth in February, and I've had, I don't know, 2 or 3 Aerotech orders since then, and I've been running at least 8 weeks on most everything. And now you're saying that that's stopped. I mean, you're like, if I place an order today, I'm going to get it in.
For which product?
Pardon me?
Which product?
I ordered mostly 29s, 38s, reloads.
High power?
Yeah.
In about 2 to 3 weeks, all of that should be in stock.
Really? Okay.
We'll be shipping.
Because that's been a killer that I've not been able to satisfy special orders.
We know that. You know, the economy hasn't been great, and sales have been fairly flat the last 4 years until, you know, this last 6-8 months or so. So, you know, to be quite frank with you, it's been difficult to stay in business. Like everybody else, you know, you cut what you have to, and you do what you can to get by. We're very thankful this year has been different. So that's
okay.
You will see shorter lead times. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. Other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Carl, would you like to go next?
Okay, thank you.
I did speak with Mario Perdue, the author of Seize the Sky. Nartz has it in stock, but yesterday or just last week, the iPad version was released for half the price that we have the paper version at Nartz. So,
What are you selling it for?
what's that?
What are you selling it for? Just out of curiosity.
You want me to pass these around?
I have a few with me here. And he lowered the price.
I think we have a paper for $20.
Yeah, that's what he lowered it
$9.99
to.
for iPad.
Right.
You just need a $500 iPad to look at it.
I didn't know he was coming out with an iPad, but it makes sense. Isn't that what he does? Apple apps. Isn't that what Mario does for a living?
What's that?
He does Apple apps, right?
Yeah.
So that makes sense. That he, I got one in my. Or I mean, I got one in my. I do have a couple of copies of Seize the Sky here also, and I take 15% off for NAR members. So. But I've got 4 more to get rid of now that he's undercut himself.
I want to tell you how happy I am to be here. This is been in there since 2001, and it looked like we weren't going to be able to make it this year with health problems. Not my heart.
Just a lot of stuff going on in the economy, and just so busy that everything started piling up. But turned out they were able to make a shortened trip and come, so we were really happy to be able to get here. We didn't know until basically Wednesday, Thursday time frame. It was, we're going to come, we can't come, we're going to come, we can't come. And then with our dogs, it was hard to find a place for the dogs. We found a place that was going to charge us an outrageous amount for our 4 dogs, and they wound up not charging anything. So it's been a good trip.
Yay.
Cheryl was going to come back down to the field tonight and help me with this, but she's wiped out. I made her do all the work today, so I'm all refreshed, and she's tired. Wish she could hear that. Bruce didn't come. He's been in the emergency room 5 times in the last 2 months with, thought it was his heart, thought it was gallbladder, thought it was hiatal hernia, a lot of different things. They pretty much ruled everything out. He does have hiatal hernia, but he's not responding to any of the treatments for that. So the latest thing that they're treating him for is esophageal spasms. And he didn't want to spend any more time in the emergency room in Michigan, so he was afraid to come. So this is his first NERM he's missed since we got back into it. But there was a bright side. I had an Eagle Scout that was supposed to have his Eagle board this morning, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there. It was accelerated because his grandfather's dying, so we got it scheduled about 2 weeks early. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there. So I got Bruce to sit in as Scoutmaster for his Eagle board, and Bruce is our troop's first Eagle Scout in 1994, and he sat in as Scoutmaster for our 51st Eagle Scout this morning. So I was kind of glad he was able to be there to do that. That was kind of a landmark. But he's missing it too. He's already called about 6 or 7 times. You remember this, or are you going to do this? Don't forget this.
He'll be all right.
He's almost as bad as Cheryl, but trying to keep me on task because I have ADHD, as you can probably tell. But SAM membership. How many people here are SAMs? I added up, and SAM members have saved, since we started the program, almost $8,000 in discounts for being SAM members. Being SAM members, NER members, on discounts. So our SAM members, in the last couple of months, I was trying to figure out which kits do we release for this event. And the SAM members voted in order of which ones we needed to release for NERM. And we released 4 of the 5 that they selected, and the 5th one I just ran out of time. But going back a little bit in time, this was released in October time frame, Cherokee D, and been very, very popular. Then the Ranger, it's like the old Estes Ranger. The Airby 300 is a deciscale, which is a slightly upscale from the original Estes that used a BT55. This uses a BT58, so it's really 1/10 scale. But the decals are wrong for an Airby 300, but they're correct if you want to make it look like the original Estes.
You want to reproduce the original mistakes.
Right.
Yeah,
the way they decaled and painted the Airby 300 was not correct, but you can build this, if you want to, you can build it so it looks like the Estes instructions when you finish. Or you can add your own paint scheme and make it look like one of the rounds from the 300. The Airby 150 we released last year, before last NERM. I've got mine built and painted to be the Airby High 42 round, but it's about this high instead of this high. The Sprite.
Oh yeah.
We've been trying to work on the Sprite for some time, and we had a lot of these casings left over from the Firefly, about 7,000 or 8,000. So what can we use those on? And the Sprite. The Sprite's real sensitive balance because it used the original Shorty engines, the 1 3/4 inch engines. But the T engines are 1 3/4 inch, and you can glue it in the casing or wedge fit it with duct tape and reuse the casing. but it does the right balance with the 1-inch shift, so it does tumble coming down and goes up straight. Somebody said they still use those from years ago before their first flight of the day, because it gets it up to about 400, 500 feet and tumbles, and they can see which way the wind's blowing, and just to get the head warmed up. Starship Vega, this is the original version of Starship Vega, not the later version with the tubes, but they changed the Starship Vega 2. But this is based on the original citation Starship Vega. It's the first one in a series of 4 starships. We're doing the Starship Vega is the first one. The Starship Excalibur that matches Estes kit plan 55 is going to be the second one, and that's going to come out in the next couple of months. They released it as a kit, but the one we're doing is the one like the kit plan and decaled like that. As far as we can tell from one line drawing of what it's supposed to look like. The Starship Cory is the third one in the series, and that's the new one that's based on the Frank Tinsley drawing of the Mars Snooper that Estes used to generate their Mars Snooper. But our Starship Cory is going to be a closer rendition to the drawing, the line drawing that Frank Tinsley did in the 50s that inspired the Estes Mars Snooper.
You mean the one for the ad for American Bosch Arna recruitment?
Yeah. It actually has a like a ball at the end. It's made out of balsa with 25 thousandths laser cut fiber to simulate the red interior with the scalloping on the outside.
It was supposed to be a ceramic reactor core.
Yeah. But
cool.
The fins, the decaling, everything is going to match the drawing on that. That'll be the second one in the series, the third one in the series. The fourth one in the series is going to be one of the Sam member designs to be in the same genre as the Starship, those 3 starships. That should be out. Sam will design it, but the general population on York will vote for it, which one we produce. I didn't bag it. The Bandit is a recent one. We did the one like the Estes Bandit, but it has, instead of punched holes, it has laser cut holes. They're about 20% larger holes, so the new ejection charges won't blow it apart. But it goes together like a dream because everything's laser cut, slots for the fin, for the engine hook, everything. But unfortunately for the Bandit, I can show you the picture. All the really neat engineering stuff is hidden once you glue it together. All that baffling. The Omega is another one. This is a Mike Dorfler design. We did the Omega, originally it sold as the launch vehicle for the Cinerock. And we combined the payload section for the Cinerock, so you can put a pin cam in it or booster vision or something. We don't supply that, but there's some threads on York where people are saying how they're doing those to fly it. The one thing that we've waited until later to do this is we wanted slots for the fins for both stages with through-the-wall fins, so when you build it, it would go straight up. Because the Cinerock is really hard to get. If you don't get the fins exactly right, it rolls. And if you're taking a picture, the worst thing that you can get is roll. So we got those, made sure they were straight, so when you build it, you shouldn't get the roll. We're going to offer the payload section to do the kit 52P, which is the BNC 60AH with the payload section to do the longer Omega, the second version.
Oh, Carl, E12.
Oh, the new S is also. How are you? Another major change in this is the engine mounts are changed from the 2 3/4 to 3 3/4, so it can fly with the ease. And particularly after I found out about the new E12s, we did it so at first it would fly with the D12s in the bottom and an E9-6 in the top. But when we found out about E12s, we changed it so both stages are the longer 3 3/4. So I don't have it on here, but I think an E12-0 to an E12-8 was something like 3,300 feet. So that'll get your camera up there. Thank you, Bill. Bill knows our products better than I do. The Starlight was one designed by Bill C. He did the Star Blazer and a few other kits in about that same time. But the Starlight's always been a classic for me. We've always wanted to do it. But Roxim said it was unstable, so we went back and added some weight to the nose cone to make it stable. But it is a classic design. A lot of people have been asking for it over the years. And we've sold probably so many fin sheets of it over the years that I won't sell too many kits. The Midget, another use for the shorty adapters. This is built just like the original Midget to fly with shorty engines. But with the shorty adapters, you can convert T engines to the shorty and fly it as a 2-stage, just like it was flown when Bill Simon designed it back in '68. USS America. We've been having this in the works for 3 years because C53, you've got to have a C53. A C63 takes a 90-inch rod to get it stable. So that's why Centauri released the C53 for the super kits, because they were going off flying like planes rather than rockets. So we won't do it. One of our SAM members suggested don't do it as a C63 and worry about that. Do it as 24 millimeter. Fly it with C11 C11.5s, and we said okay, D12.5s and E12.6s. So 1,500 feet with an E12.6. The old USS America never went that high. It was about like 200 feet with a C53, 250, something like that. So you get some altitude out of it. The decal sheet in this whole sheet, very complex decaling. You start with a white rocket, end with a multicolored rocket with the decals. So this turned out really good. We finished this days before NARAM.
You got that hop along again, Dave.
Coming up, I already mentioned the Starship Excalibur and Starship Cory, but the egg crate was one of the other things that people voted for. And we're going to do the egg crate as another E12 DeLong, so we can fly with D12, E12, any of the longer 24 millimeter.
Which version of egg crate?
It's going to be the original that had the balsa nose cone, the ST20, not the Interjet egg crate.
Okay.
But it is going to have a balsa transition instead of a nose block with a paper transition like the very, very original. The second production run started with the balsa. This is scale N54C Phoenix. Looks really good. Has ½ an ounce weight in the nose cone to make it stable, but it will have it'll have basswood vanes instead of balsa, so it'll be stronger. I built up a model, a prototype of that. It looked really good. The one that we were trying to get ready as a surprise for NARAM was the HS3, which is a triple helicopter maple leaf recovery. So it goes up as 3 maple leaf designs on the side of the tube, and when it pops the pod at the top, all 3 maple leaves come down. And that worked good in the test. The first test, it didn't go about maybe 50 feet tall because it took the launch rod with it. Trying to get it out too quick. The second one went up about 200 feet, everything rotated down perfect. I said, okay, if we can build it like that, that'll be good. So we've got some to build this weekend and try to get in the air before we leave as a part of the test, but I don't know how much luck. The thing that inspired that is Homeland Security was going to do maple leaf things with cameras in them to drop them out to spy on people. And I saw an article about that, and I said, well, that sounds like a good government project. And then I started thinking, how are they going to spin the screen so it's stable? But they got to spin the computer screen at the opposite rate that the thing's spinning down. So we're going to
fix it in software.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been in hardware and I've been in software, and hardware is more reliable.
Yeah.
Get that motor going. But that was the joke between us. We call it HS3 Cut now because we don't have a name. We might let Sam's name it. But that was one that we were trying to get out, and as we were packing stuff up, Bruce said, we're not releasing that today before you go tomorrow morning. I said, okay, that sounds good. We'll do the testing there. Any questions?
Carl, on that Omega, let me just make sure I'm clear. The nose cone on that is just the regular, is it the payload cone or the? Okay, it is the payload cone. Okay. All right, so
it's 18, 1.8.
Okay, yeah.
It's 1.8 diameter, just like the original plastic.
Yeah.
This simulates the two plastic.
That was my favorite Estes rocket.
It was nice. Yeah. It was nice. And the simulated yellow tape is, when you put it together, it was 3 pieces of plastic, and you use yellow plastic tape.
Do you have the
to hold
tape
it together.
with it, or you have to?
No, that's not on there.
Not included.
Yellow doesn't show up when you do it as a decal on black, so it really needs to be the yellow tape.
Do you have those here for sale? Thank you.
More questions for Carl?
Got another rocket?
Hey, Carl. Yeah, when he was up here, I was going to say, I just sell these for $20 a piece. If I sell half of them.
Hey, Carl?
Yes.
You might want to mention you'll be here through Monday. You will be here through Monday.
Oh, Monday. Yeah, I don't know whether I mentioned that. We're going to stay for the town hall meeting on Monday night and get up and leave early on Tuesday morning. So stop by and see us. Before then, we appreciate all the people that stopped by today. It's really made the trip worthwhile. George?
I picked up your Omega kit earlier today, and because of the purchase, I got a bonus kit.
Oh!
Otherwise,
Good
I'll
job.
feel too special.
Yeah. He needs to be on the staff too.
Yeah. We brought about 40 of the midgets today to hand out. We're not really selling those. We're giving these out with people that stop by and get an order or just stop by and talk to me. Talk to Cheryl, she might know.
Carol insisted I have that.
Oh, she likes you. I'm teasing. She's softer than me, but I call her Bulldog because she said, "Well, you need to just tell them this." Well, you can tell them. Oh, you need to tell them.
Thank you.
I think we got all the manufacturers.
Nope, we don't do it.
Nope, here we go.
All right.
You hogged all the time,
Hi, I'm Rick Randall, New Way Space Models. We make the square rockets. If you guys haven't seen them, we got our booth and they're square. I mean, it's the rockets that are square. So we released 3 new kits for NARA, and like Carl and everybody, we finished them this week before we got here. So this year we did another clone of an old Estes kit. It was the Estes did the Vigilante. We changed it to Vigil Angle. It made sense. So theirs was 18 to 18. Ours is a 24 to an 18. Otherwise, lengthwise and all that, it's identical to the Estes version. Then there was some discussion on yield rocket form. I don't know how many of you read on that, but Simrock has a Orville Carlisle Mark II original kit. It used the crayon sharpened nose cone. I don't know how much you're familiar with it. It was like the first model rocket, the first practical model rocket ever. And they were saying, how could we simulate that crayon sharpener with Carl's kit with adding little strips? And I was like, you know, really, we could do that with the square one. So for reference, this is a Carlisle Mark II with an original crayon sharpener nose cone. And so we just made our square version of it. So it's got the big lug on the side, just like they did, and the nose cone has the ribs on it like the sharpener. Otherwise, it's the same length, fins are the same, and that's our version. And the logo says Rocket Shoot, ours says Mark II squared in the same logo. So it's just it's a favorite of mine. I'm a history buff, and I have a whole collection of these crayon sharpeners. I'm kind of obsessed with it. So anyway, and then we had talked, and I even mentioned last year at the Manufacturers Forum, about other ideas for square rockets, and everybody has come up and offers all kinds of ideas for things that you can make square, because people just hadn't thought about it before. And so, you know, we've spent hours and hours thinking of square things that would fly. And one of the early things that came up was buildings. You know, almost every famous building in all the cities are square, and Empire State Building with a great rocket that made. So we took some inspiration from buildings and thought we'd try to come up with a building. And it seemed to be harder than it should have been, but my son actually, my oldest son, who has nothing to do with rockets, just graduated high school, couldn't care less, actually designed most of the rocket, because I was at an impasse, you know. How can I make this rocket look like a building? And so he said, how about this? And it just turned out. So this is Skyrise.
I like that.
And it's pretty simple. I was thinking way outside the box, or maybe too inside the box. I'm not sure there.